believe that my colleagues have learned nothing from the elections in November. They don't see this as a movie script that someone may have liked to write. What they see is this is real life. And they want a restoration to equal justice, equal access, equal treatment, abiding by the rule of law.
Welcome back to American Mindset, the channel where we stand for truth, justice, and the American way of life. Today, we're diving into Senator Marsha Blackburn's epic takedown of the Democrats during the Bondi hearing. If you haven't seen this yet, buckle up, patriots. This is a real example of standing up for the American people. Let's watch the video.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Bondi, I know that you are pleased that we are moving to the end of round one. And we appreciate your being here. And I appreciate that you told my California colleagues you were willing to work with them, even in light of the manner in which they have approached you. Now, one thing I think we need to have everybody understand that is watching this hearing today and everyone sitting in here, what we have witnessed over the last 4 years with a weaponized DOJ. My colleagues have talked about this, and the American people know this. They know what was carried out against President Trump and his administration, and in November, they voted to see an end to 2 tiers of justice, 2 tiers of treatment, 2 tiers of access, because they have absolutely had it with the lies, with the accusations, and with the attacks that have come against so many people who were just seeking to live their lives. And then all of a sudden found the FBI or another federal agency or the DOJ knocking at their door. You know, Ms. Bondi, it would make you believe that my colleagues have learned nothing from the elections in November. They don't see this as a movie script that someone may have liked to write. What they see is this is real life. And they want a restoration to equal justice, equal access, equal treatment, abiding by the rule of law. Many of us have talked today about making America safe again. And in Tennessee, I hear a good bit about this. And as we've discussed your nomination, one of the things I've mentioned to people is your career as a prosecutor. And you have touched on that some today. And you are bringing that insight of being a prosecutor to bear. And I do appreciate that. Now, one thing that I think is noteworthy, and in preparation for the hearing, I looked some of these numbers up. During President Trump's first term, violent crime in this country actually fell. Yes. It fell by 17%. And in the first 2 years of the Biden administration, it soared by 43%. This is crime that is taking place in all of our communities. We've seen a rise, whether it's California or Tennessee, we have seen a rise. So I want you to talk to Tennesseans, to Californians, to all Americans about what you're going to do to get this crime rate down in this country.
Senator, thank you for that question. And despite the questions from Senator Schiff, I look forward to working with you and the state of California to do everything we can to fight violent crime in California. And you know as well as I, that crime is only going to go through the roof now after these forest fires. You're going to have looting. You're going to have price gouging. You're going to have so many things that I have dealt with in the state of Florida, and I am committed to working with California just as much as I am committed to working with you, Senator Kennedy, in the tragedy that just took place in Louisiana, given all the human beings that were murdered in your state. And we have the Super Bowl coming up in less than 3 weeks now, I believe, Senator. I've been a little busy. But we've got to ensure, if I'm confirmed, that everyone in this country is safe. And I will work with you. I will work with you, Senator. I will work with all of you in this country. For everything that Senator Blackburn said, we have got to reduce violent crime, and we have got to restore integrity to our law enforcement officers. Donald Trump, we keep saying he won this election by 77.3 million votes and 312 electoral votes. Look at the map of California, Senator Schiff. It's bright red, the popular vote, for a reason. People want law and order. They want to be safe so they can go to take their children to school, so they can go to church, Senator Hawley. People want safe streets. Of course we care about our economy and what's happening in this world, but if we're not safe, none of that works. We have got to come together. We have got to work together to make America safe again, and that in turn will make America great again, and I don't know where that phrase has become a bad word, because I think that's a great one. Making America great again.
Let me move on with you to something else that's about law and order, and that is Section 1507. Because making certain that our justices are protected is important, and we also, with our judges, Section 1507 makes illegal any protest outside of a judge's residence if the intent is to influence the judge's decision-making. And we have heard about the protest outside of justices' homes where they were shouting loud and clear things like, and I'm quoting some of that, "If you take away our choices, we will riot," end quote. Another one, "No privacy for us, no peace for you," end quote. In other words, if the justices did not vote to uphold Roe and Casey, the protesters would continue to harass them. Despite this clear violation of the law, Merrick Garland did not bring a single charge, not one single charge, under Section 1507. Will you commit to faithfully enforcing Section 1507 as Attorney General?
I will faithfully enforce that law and all laws that I am asked to review. And Senator, I watched that on TV and it horrified me, the protesters outside their houses. You can't do that for a reason, because our justices have to remain safe and unbiased and protected from threats, as do we all. But they do enjoy a special protection, and yes, that should be enforced.
And thank you, Ms. Bondi. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
All right, folks, let's get right into it. Marsha Blackburn just called out the Democrats for what they are, completely out of touch with the American people. She said herself, they've learned nothing from the November elections. And you know what? She's absolutely right. We, the people, have spoken loud and clear. We're tired of the corruption, the lies, and the weaponization of our justice system. But do the Democrats care? No. They're still playing the same dirty games, trying to silence us and strip away our freedoms. Blackburn nailed it when she said Americans want an end to the two-tier justice system. Think about it. One set of rules for them, the elites, and another set for the rest of us hardworking Americans. How is that fair? It's not. Let's talk about the weaponization of the DOJ and FBI. Blackburn brought up a critical point. The way federal agencies have been used to target everyday Americans simply for supporting President Trump. Imagine living your life, minding your own business, and suddenly, the FBI shows up at your door because you dare to have a different political opinion. That's not America. That's tyranny. And that's why so many of us voted in November to put a stop to this nonsense. But here's the kicker. Democrats don't care. They think they can keep pushing their agenda, ignoring the voice of the people. Well, I've got news for them. We're not backing down. Now let's talk about crime. Blackburn dropped some cold, hard facts. Under President Trump, violent crime went down. Yes, you heard that right. Down by 17%. And by the way, the transcript says 177%, but let's chalk that up to a typo. But under Biden, crime has skyrocketed by 43%. That's nearly half, folks. And it's affecting every corner of our country, from California to Tennessee. Why? Because the Democrats are soft on crime. They defund the police. They let criminals walk free. And they act like we're supposed to be okay with it. Well, we're not. Every American deserves to feel safe in their own communities. That's common sense. Now, let's give credit where it's due. Pam Bondi made it clear that she's ready to work with both Republicans and Democrats to tackle violent crime. That's leadership, folks. She even brought up her experience dealing with disasters in Florida, wildfires, looting, price gouging, you name it. She's been in the trenches, and she knows what it takes to restore order. And let's not forget her response to Senator Kennedy about the recent tragedy in Louisiana. She's focused on keeping America safe, whether it's in Louisiana, California, or anywhere else. That's the kind of leadership we need right now. Another great point Bondi made. President Trump won 77.3 million votes and 312 electoral votes because Americans want law and order. Look at the map of California. It's turning red in so many areas because people are fed up with the chaos. People want safe streets, safe schools, and safe neighborhoods. They want to be able to take their kids to church without worrying about crime. And you know what? They deserve that. Bondi also defended the phrase, "Make America Great Again." And let me tell you, that's not controversial. That's patriotic. Why wouldn't we want to make America great again? Only people who hate this country would have a problem with that. Here's something that really fired me up. Blackburn brought up the protests outside Supreme Court justices' homes. These weren't peaceful protests, folks. These were mobs threatening violence if the justices didn't vote the way they wanted. They chanted things like, "If you take away our choices, we will riot." That's not free speech. That's intimidation. That's illegal under Section 1507. And yet Merrick Garland didn't bring a single charge. Not one. But Pam Bondi? She committed to enforcing that law, if confirmed. That's what we need. Someone who's willing to stand up for the rule of law and protect our institutions. At the end of the day, Marsha Blackburn and Pam Bondi are fighting for the things that matter most. Safety, justice, and freedom. They're standing up to the left's hypocrisy and saying enough is enough. So here's my message to all of you watching. Stay strong, stay informed, and don't let the media or the Democrats silence you. This is our country, and it's time to take it back. If you agree, hit that like button, share this video, and let me know in the comments what you think about Marsha Blackburn's powerful speech. Together, we can keep the American spirit alive. This is American Mindset, where we fight for faith, family, and freedom. Until next time, stay proud, stay patriotic, and God bless America.